we'll do the live thing first. Like, hey everybody, welcome back to the Bigmark podcast. It's me, your host, Bigmark. If it's your first time watching, welcome. If not, welcome back. Like I always say, if you ever wanted to reach out to the podcast, let us know if you wanted to hear about an episode, come on as a guest. Let us know if you'd like to come on. We'd love to work something out and get you in the hot seat over here. And you know, that's the best way to get a hold of us. Hit us up in the DMs or on Twitter or Instagram at the Bigmark Pod or at the Bigmark Podcast. But what you're doing right now is the best thing you can possibly do for us. You can watch, you can engage, you can listen, and hit us up in the comments and like and subscribe and do all that great stuff. And I thank you, each and every one of you, for being here and taking your time and doing all that stuff if you have a chance. But if you did want to go that extra mile, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/thebigmarkpod. We got a couple different ways to donate. Let's put it that way. So thank you all for being here. It's funny. I was just thinking about when I was doing the research, as they say, or as I say, for the podcast. You know, I was looking to talk about the heat wave that we've just gone through, at least in Southern Ontario, and I think a lot of parts of the United States. But Toronto, a few days ago now, when this podcast is coming out. But on Monday, June 23rd, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, recorded the hottest temperature on Earth at the time. And it was it was 36 degrees Celsius, which is the hottest Toronto has ever been since July 13th, 2016. But again, this got me thinking. It was like, I know not too long ago, we did a podcast on the record snowfall that we just had. So starting to see a little bit of a trend here on extreme weather patterns. But, again, I think sometimes these things ebb and flow. I mean, it's hard to always look back and see all these different weather patterns as things go on. But I think it's undeniable that we're definitely starting to experience a lot of things that we haven't necessarily seen before. I mean, again, don't get me wrong. It was just 2016 the last time we saw it, but that was a record temperature at that point too. And then we're also talking record humidity as well. At one point, it was 46.3% humidity, relative humidity, 0.7 points higher than its former all-time peak on June 30th, 2018. So the humidex was 46.3 on the 22nd and then 45.6 on the 30th. So it just it continued on this whole thing. Right. And same in Hamilton where we reside here. Shout out Hamilton. We saw the humidex jump 2.3 points higher than its peak in June of 2018, reaching 46.6. And downtown Hamilton was also the hotspot on Sunday, June 22nd, in the entire country. It was the hottest place in the entire country, with air temperatures reaching 35.3 degrees Celsius. I remember I was in my car and shits was going up to 36. So I've never seen their reading in my car go up that high. So again, we're seeing craziness. And this is all over Peterborough, Sarnia, all the way down. Southern Ontario was just completely getting hammered. And, of course, obviously, the northeastern United States too is feeling this too. New York State and Ohio and all them, they're all feeling this exact heat. And, I was thinking during that whole time when it was so bloody hot, it's like, man, I wish I could thank whoever runs the fucking electricity plant, whoever's watching over Niagara Falls or wherever all this energy is coming from. That shit is getting fucking worked, man. 100%. People's air conditioners are on 10. People's got windows, air conditioners, fans. I got fans going in here don't get me wrong. I'm lucky here at the Bigmark Studios. We're in the basement here, and because the upstairs gets hot, the fucking AC's chooching, and it was like 19 degrees Celsius in my apartment. So like I was almost fucking cold. So, you know, again, I'm coming from a place of I was relatively comfortable during this whole heat wave, which is usually crazy because like I'm definitely a kid who runs hot. Like I definitely I'm a hot kid. I mean, it's not just because of the new haircut. I'm a big dude, and I've just always been warm, like more warm-blooded. I mean, for the longest time, I didn't wear fucking gloves and in the winter kind of thing. I was the kid who wore shorts. I mean, it was high school uniform shorts, so I was inside all the time. I wore like my sweatpants over my shorts outside. I just had to wear my uniform shit, so it was more comfortable inside in shorts. But I wore them shits all year. So there was times where I was out and about where it shouldn't been. I'm not a kid who wore shorts all the fucking time, but again, the heat is running. So I'm super thankful that at least for those fucking, you know, historically hot days, you know, I had a cool place, you know, friends and loved ones notwithstanding in super hot joints. I feel for you. I can't imagine, like, if it's too hot, like I can't sleep. Like that's my problem. And I always say, like, if it wasn't for air conditioning, I would die. I mean, I remember when I first moved into my student house in university, I was, you know, we looked at the house like in February or something, right? Like that's when you look for student houses. You got to get on that shit because everyone and their fucking friends, I was going to say everyone and their mothers, but I guess your parents help out, but everyone and their mothers are looking for fucking places to live, for the next year, and shit gets gobbled up real quick, and then it's real slim pickings. Don't get me wrong, we saw some fucking dicey places. I remember one of the places was like every shelf, every flat surface, every fucking shape of the land, every shelf, everything was fucking just Simo's bottles, Captain Morgan Spice rum bottles. Everywhere you looked, there's hundreds of bottles, man. It was fucking nuts. So we're like, I don't know, man. I can't really see the place past these fucking bottles, so I guess we're going to pass. But anyway, found a super cool place, 420 Coombs, the best house number of all time. And it was great. Me and my 4 other buddies were going to live in there. 3 upstairs, 2 downstairs. Tremendous. We're looking at the place. It's awesome. Nice and warm. Lots of room. Great. August runs around. I'm going in second year playing football, and I'm there beginning of August because our camp starts on, you know, August 19th usually. And I walk in the place, and it's warm, right? Like obviously, you know, no one's been living in it for the summer. It's warm. Thinking, okay, cool. Right away, as soon as I get in there, I'm like, I'm gonna kick up the AC, like get it started while we're working here. Oh my god, no fucking AC. I probably look like I just like lost everything in the you know, in a dice game or whatever. I was just heartbroken, and luckily my mom was helping me out there, and she was able to go to like Rona or something, and we got a little air conditioner unit for my room. Tickety boo, that place was like a refrigerator in a second, and at least I could sleep again. Fuck, I'm just spoiled that way, and it just sucks. I can't deal with it. I think I could maybe do it better if I had like a fan going on me. I think I could figure it out. But fuck, I just can't handle the heat. Anyway, and we just experienced, you know, record-setting heat, at least again, repeated records, or breaking some at least, and being the hottest place in the country, hottest place in the fucking world for a second. And again, you know, you look at a lot of those statistics, and they were repeats from July of 2018, and you know, later in the year. So super heat. I feel for everyone. Again, thank you to all the people who keep the lights on, because I don't think we even had any, you know, knock on wood still, because I guess we're not at, you know, it's still pretty warm out there, but not crazy. And you know, we're talking 36 degrees. It's pretty hot. I'm pretty sure when I was in Thailand, it was about that hot. You know, that's like Mexico hot. So like people are probably looking at us like, what the fuck? Like, you know, there's places that are at like basically that hot every day. I guess not necessarily on June 23rd, 2025, but that number 1 at least went to Toronto. But you know, who would ever think that would go there? You know, you're thinking Sao Paulo, you're thinking places, equatorial nations, you know, equatorial locations. But again, Canada was getting cooked. So who knows? I don't know exactly what the meteorological meanings behind that, other than the fact that at this point in the year, our Earth is tilted to more towards the sun, and that's why we experience more heat in the summer. That's fucking crazy, man. Like, you know, obviously it's true, but like, you know, it's amazing how much distance, and like, again, it's just at it's a global scale, literally. Such a giant scale, you know, just like the tilt of our axis, like a couple degrees, brings us like hundreds of kilometers closer in a way to the sun. And just how powerful the sun is, that, you know, just relative distance, because obviously we're, you know, whatever, 93 million miles away, which is, fuck, I suck. I think there's, 1.6 miles? 1.6 miles to a kilometer, so it's like, you know, whatever. Fuck, it's 50 million miles away, 50 million kilometers away. Let's just put it that way. I don't care. Sorry, I'm not Neil deGrasse Tyson. But just a little bit of that, like a fraction of how far that is, makes such a difference. I mean, not really, I guess. It's only a few degrees if you look at it, but it makes such a difference, because honestly, once that heat wave cracked, it was like 19 the next day, and it fucking felt cold. So it's all this like relative. It's so funny, because again, if it was December and it was 19 out, it would seem crazy, right? So yes, it's a decent swing. Obviously in Canada we were feeling like negative 40 to positive 40 almost, really, right? Like, you know, depending on where we were. I don't think it was pretty cold this winter. I don't think we got that bad. We got more snow this winter than anything, but you know, we're talking about 80 degree swing from one end to another. So, but the equatorial nations kind of are always feeling that, because they're always relatively about the same distance from the sun. So they're probably looking at us like, whatever, bro. So feel the heat. You know, there's some ways to break it. I know we're probably, who knows if the heat is hitting us this early. Who knows if we're looking into a super hot summer again. But there's, you know, ways to break the heat. Obviously, you want to keep the air moving. If you have air conditioning, good on you. If not, you got to use fans. Try to get a dehumidifier. The problem with the dehumidifier, you got to be careful. They kick out a lot of heat. I'm not sure if it's a thing about the size of the dehumidifier. I think that's something you might want to look into. I've never done any actual research on that, and the fact of like the size of the dehumidifier, that the larger ones, thinking, okay, you want a bigger dehumidifier, it's going to dehumidify the air quicker, potentially, or better, more efficiently. But it kicks out a lot of heat because it's larger, just like Bigmark. If you got a smaller dehumidifier, yeah, maybe you're like, you know, emptying it more, but is it going to kick out the same amount of heat? It's definitely going to be smaller. Who knows? And if you can hook up a hose to it and it's just ripping, who knows, right? So I don't know. I thought about that, because that's the problem with the dehumidifier, is that it kicks out a lot of heat, and it's almost like this, like, you know, balancing game right now. Yeah, right now it's 52% in Bigmark Studios right now, in the comfort zone, according to the old ThermoPro room thermometer here. And I don't have the dehumidifier on right now, because it was kicking out a lot of heat, and it's not too hot today, so the AC isn't ripping. It was 23 degrees Celsius in here, which is, for all of our American friends, 73.8 degrees Fahrenheit inside. So, you know, it's a little on the warmer side, but we're definitely in the comfort zone. Like, that's fucking room temp. So it's this balancing act where you want the humidity to get low, but you don't want to be kicking out all this heat, because then you're fighting the temperatures, right? So yeah, it might be dry, but then it's going to be hot. So, you know, and I'm also in the basement too, so I have to kind of worry about that. But I think keeping the air moving, super huge. You know, you can get in the shower, get in a cold shower. There's kind of like some conflicting evidence on like going at like how to actually cool down. It's almost like sometimes putting a lot of cold stuff on your body might feel good in the moment when you're like really overheating, but then your body's going to actually try to constrict a lot of your blood vessels and bring a lot of that stuff in, and not allow a lot of that heat to actually dissipate. when your body's like reacting to that cold. If you like jump in like a cold pool, I think that's different because like that's actively cooling your whole body. But if you just like, dump an ice bucket on yourself, your body might actually react as if you're getting cold, constrict a lot of those arteries, not a lot of blood flow, not totally amazing for you. However, it does feel great. So one little trick you can do is you get a colander or like a strainer, fill it with ice, and then get in your shower and hold it between yourself, the water, and the ice, and the water will go through the ice and then onto you, and watch out for that. That's real cold. Ice baths obviously are in play. You can check out one of our podcasts on doing ice plunges and ice baths and cold therapy, if you will. But again, there's also some kind of remedies like Australians call it a kangaroo bath. You actually just like get your forearms. So this is like if you're at work or like, not necessarily able to just dunk yourself, you get your forearms in cold water, run them under the sink. And that really helps dissipate, because a lot of heat is actually, released your hands. There's a lot of capillaries. Basically the way your body releases heat is through convection, I guess, or whatever. No, evaporation and all that. Radiance, I guess, is actually would be like the physical term, but your capillaries, obviously bring blood to the surface. There's a lot of capillaries in certain parts of your body that are closer in your face, in your hands, at the top of your head, soles of your feet. There's places where your blood vessels are close to the surface of your skin, and that actually releases a lot of heat to the environment when you're hot, and then obviously sweating as well, and that's like evaporation. That's kind of a little bit of a different thing. That's where, your body is obviously creating water through sweat. And as that sweat evaporates, it's doing a kind of a physical process, evaporation, and drawing a lot of heat out as it evaporates. So that's why you sweat. And then obviously breathing out air too, and evaporation that way. So that's why it's important to drink water. Listen to one of our other episodes on hydration. Super important to drink water during these times too. Even if you're not like really actively sweating, again, your body's just you're losing a lot of water vapor through your breath, like I said, and you just, as heat increases, chemical processes increases, and that includes inside your body too. So more anabolic processes and metabolism things going on, your body's going to require more water and nutrients and all that stuff. So hydrate, eat well, especially on these hot days. I feel like that's why people go to like have big barbecues and stuff, because like you need that fucking energy. But again, there's almost like it's kind of sometimes these conflicting ideas of how to cool down is using actually cool stuff. But like you go to these equatorial nations, Thailand and Malaysia, places, Ecuador, all these countries that are tropical and hot most of the time. They have their remedies to chill, and most of them involve warm things. So like drinking a warm drink or eating hot soup, you'd think, oh fuck, what the fuck am I eating pho on a hot fucking day for? It's too hot. I don't want to be around hot shit. But that heat, actually, it's the same thing. It's the opposite of what I'm talking about when you put the cold on you. When you eat something warm and hot, it actually triggers that kind of response in your body to cool down. When your core temperature rises, that's when your body reacts to it. Again, it's not necessarily about your extremities. When your core temperature changes, that's when your body reacts to environmental changes. But when your core temperature rises, your body's going to react to that, and it's when you eat hot soup or drink hot drink, and it's going to increase capillary dilation and all these other things that help you cool down. Even if you are sweating, it's actually good to sweat on these fucking hot days. So as much as it sucks and it's weird, and actually reminds me of when I was a personal trainer, I was trying to set up a program for fitness for mental health, and one of the practitioners I talked to, one of the psychotherapists I talked to, she said one of her clients had a sweat phobia. And I was like, oh, this is a great opportunity for come to work out in a gym where sweat is almost, celebrated. Well, in fact, it is. But anyway, so I get not everyone's super comfortable sweating, but it's good. It's your body's way of cooling you down naturally, right? So, but again, you got to replace that water. You got to replace those minerals. You got to replace that salt. So don't be afraid to eat salty shit on hot days or when you're sweating too. So sodium in large quantities isn't amazing, but if you're sweating, it's just going to come out of your pores. So feel free to replace it as much as you can. You need that sodium. You need that fucking magnesium. You need all that good shits. Ions, baby. Anyway, so it looks like we're kind of out of the heat right now, but you never know when it might come back. Whenever you're watching this, you know, maybe it's 100 years from now, and you're looking back in the 2025 heat wave, and going, oh, what was happening back then? Bullshit, same old bullshit, probably. Anyway, hope to see you in 100 more years. Love y'all. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think of the new haircut. Peace.